We're going to be working on drop stitches where part of your fabric is just going to be floats within the fabric. So that's how I usually do this technique. There are many different ways, and I'll be sending you some additional videos for that. You're gonna cast on 25 stitches. You're gonna jersey knit, meaning knit and purl about 5 rows. And then for the next step, I'm saying knit 10 stitches. So I already did that step. So I already have my 10 stitches prepared. And then the following step would be close, cast off 5 stitches. So we're gonna cast off 5 times. And I will end up with partial closed area within my knitting, kind of like a buttonhole. And then I'm going to knit all the way to the end, and then we're going to see how we are dealing with the area that I completely finished. So right now it's a hole, but that's the intention. Okay, going back, now you can see that some of my knitting is closed in the center, so there are no stitches there. I'm going to purl 10 at this point. And when I get to the area that I just cast off, I'm going to take my yarn and I'm going to wrap cast on 1 stitch, meaning I'm going to twist the yarn, and then I'm going to put it on the needle and pull very, very tightly. And having done that, I'm going to continue. So for a while, what you're going to see in the area where we cast off the stitches is just a hole. It's just like a hole in your knitting, but that's good. Don't get discouraged by that. And so just one more step on your way back. On your way back, we are going to knit now. So you knit and purl depending on which side you're on. When you get to that stitch, you just knit it or purl it like a regular stitch. Don't stop, and you only have to do it once. And once that is done, so this is the stitch that we made, I'm just going to make a stitch here and continue. So once that is done, you only have to do it once and continue back and forth for about 10 rows. And all the while, you're going to be seeing this hole, but that's good. That is a good hole. After you finished about 10 rows, you should be seeing this type of picture. And then all these rows on top, you should, at this point, knit or purl wherever you are, 10 stitches all the way to the center. And then you should be seeing the stitch that we made, which is right above the hole. This is the stitch that we're going to be dropping. I'm just checking. Yes, so I'm going to drop the stitch. You literally drop it from the needle, pull it apart, and so you can see how it is already creating the floats. That's what we were looking for. And the actual size, the actual placement could vary depending on your design, but this is kind of perfect. All the floats are exactly the same length and they're lined very nicely. And so our last step essentially is to build a bridge here to get to the other side of the swatch. So what I'm going to do, again, I'm going to wrap cast on, but this time I'm going to wrap cast on 5 stitches because I closed 5. So 1, twist the yarn, 2, twist the yarn, 3, twist the yarn, 4, twist the yarn, 5. Great, and now I'm ready to continue. I'm just going to do on this step and then one section all the way back so you can see how it works. And you on your swatch, you can follow the copy that is attached to your handout and do it pretty much the same size as in my original. So these are my floats still there. And on your way back now you have the 5 stitches that are replacing the ones that you closed. So you continue your knit and purl. And after you do on top, you can do again 4 or 5 rows. And cast off. So these are my stitches that I made. This is my wrap cast on, which actually work out very nicely. And continue all the way to the end. So your floats are sort of inserted in the fabric. And I'm going to create 4 or 5 more rows and cast off. And that would conclude this swatch. So you will end up with a picture of something similar to this one, maybe slightly smaller, but don't make it overly small, just so that you can see the effect of the drop stitches. And that's it for drop stitches.